Hello, fellow mystery seekers. Imagine for a moment that you're walking around the grounds of a grand palace with a friend. Everything seems normal when suddenly you find yourself transported back over 100 years. The people's clothes and mannerisms are strange and alien to your modern eyes. You see and feel things that defy explanation. Well, that's exactly what happened in today's case. Welcome to You Should Be Scared. I'm your host, Taylor Davies, and this is your #1 destination for everything mysterious and unexplained. Join me today and we'll investigate the story of one of the most famous time slips ever experienced. Let's dive straight in, shall we? Imagine, if you will, a warm August day in 1901. The sun hangs lazily over the Grand Palace of Versailles, its rays glinting off gilded gates and manicured hedges. Here, amidst the echoes of history, we find two remarkable women, Charlotte Ann Moberly and Eleanor Jourdain. Academics? Yes. Best friends? Definitely. More than friends? Who am I to say? But today, they are about to become unwitting time travelers.
Eleanor, can you believe we're finally here? The very grounds where Marie Antoinette once walked. What secrets this place must hold! Indeed, Charlotte, though I must say my mind is more taken by the historical accuracy of the restorations. Have you noticed how the fountains seem to be from a later period than the rest of the garden? Oh, you and your restorations, Eleanor. Shall we take a walk to the Petit Trianon? I've always wanted to see it. Okay, I'd like to see that too. I think it's this way. Let's walk down the main path and we can ask one of the gardeners for directions.
The pair walk hand in hand down the main path towards the gardeners working in the flower beds ahead of them. Then Charlotte notices something strange.
Eleanor, have you noticed the gardener's clothing? It seems strangely out of place to me. They look more like dignified officials, dressed in their long greyish-green coats and small three-cornered hats.
Charlotte frowns a little, starting to feel something isn't quite right on this bright summer's day. The gardener points them down the path and they carry on towards the Petit Trianon. Just then, Charlotte notices a small boy. He's visibly upset, crying and looking around in bewilderment.
Oh, Eleanor, what's wrong with that poor little chap? There, young man. What seems to be the trouble? Your frock coat is very handsome, by the way.
I can't find my mother, mademoiselle. Will you help me?
Now, dear heart, we'll find her together. Can you tell me what she looks like? Is she wearing a bonnet, perhaps?
Charlotte helps the boy to find his mother. The she returns to Eleanor, who is looking around in bewilderment and astonishment.
Whatever's the matter, Eleanor, darling? You look as if you've seen a ghost. Did you notice, Charlotte, that child, his clothing? It's not possible. It looks like it's from another time.
Charlotte's eyes widen in wonder as a young woman passes calmly by. She doesn't seem to notice the pair gawping at her. Not seeming to see them at all, maybe. Her elaborate dress rustles as she walks by.
Charlotte, that woman's dress. It's not a costume, it's authentic 18th century attire. Look at the cut of the bodice, the fall of the skirt. Impossible. Unless, Eleanor, do you think we've somehow...
And with that, our intrepid explorers took their first step into a mystery that would consume the next decade of their lives. Time itself seemed to bend around them, reality blurring like wet watercolours. The past and present collided in a whirlwind of impossible experiences.
Eleanor, do you feel that? A strange melancholy in the air. It's as if we've stepped into another world entirely. The air smells different, like lavender and old parchment. I do. And look at the guards over there. Their clothes, their strange mannerisms. It's as if we've wandered onto a canvas painted by history itself. Eleanor, those aren't costumes. Look at the detail in the embroidery, the way the fabric moves. It's definitely authentic. But that's impossible. Unless... No, it simply can't be. We must be rational about this. Perhaps it's an elaborate reenactment. Oh, the guard, he's coming over.
Mademoiselle, are you lost? Let me give you some directions.
Merci, monsieur. You're too kind. We're looking for Le Petit Trianon, if you could point us in the right direction.
As our duo ventured deeper into this watercolor world of the past, the very fabric of reality seemed to blur around them, past and present bleeding into one another like wet paint on canvas. With every step, Charlotte and Eleanor found themselves further immersed in a time that should have been beyond their reach, yet felt tangibly real. The pair follow the guard's directions towards their destination and things get stranger and stranger.
Charlotte, look, there's an old building over there. See? The one with the roses climbing up the outside? Doesn't it look strange? And see the woman holding out a jug to a girl in the doorway? But it doesn't look real somehow. It's like a tableau vivant, a living picture, more like Madame Tussauds waxworks than real people. Also, have you seen the old-fashioned wooden plough over there in the yard? The one with the notch in the handle?
Everything suddenly looked unnatural and therefore unpleasant. Even the trees seemed to become flat and lifeless, like wood worked in a tapestry. There were no effects of light and shade, and no wind stirred the trees. The pair carry on walking towards Petit Trianon and found themselves on the edge of a wood, coming across a man seated beside a garden kiosk, wearing a cloak and large shady hat.
Charlotte, that man, his appearance, it's most repulsive. His expression seems odious. Oh God, he's turning towards us. I sense there's something very wrong with him.
The man's face was marked by smallpox. His complexion was rough and his expression was evil and yet unseeing. And though Charlotte and Eleanor did not feel that he was looking particularly at them, they felt a repugnance to going past him. They finally reached the Petit Trianon, a chateau on the grounds of Versailles. They walk over a bridge to the chateau and find themselves alone apart from a woman in a blue summer dress. She sat on the grass sketching in a notebook. The woman has masses of curly fair hair. Charlotte's eyes widen with shock and recognition.
Dear heart, I know you'll think me crazy, but I truly believe that the lady over there is Marie Antoinette herself, the Queen of France who was beheaded during the French Revolution. But how could that be? What's happening? Charlotte, I think we should go now. This whole place just feels wrong to me. Let's return to the palace.
And with that, the pair return to the palace and perhaps return back to their own time. So, dear viewer, you might wonder what our intrepid academics did upon returning to London. Well, let me tell you. They dove headfirst into a sea of research that would consume the next decade of their lives.
Eleanor, look at this! I found a reference to the gardener's cottage we saw. It's not on any modern map of Versailles. The description matches perfectly, right down to the climbing roses we noticed. Fascinating. And here in this old journal, there's mention of a rustic bridge near the Petit Trianon, the very one we crossed. It even notes the peculiar creak of the third plank. Charlotte, do you realize we've spent more time in 18th century Versailles through these books than we did during our adventure? I can almost smell the powder from the wigs.
And with that, dear viewer, Charlotte Moberly and Eleanor Jourdain took their first confident step from the realm of speculation into the annals of history. Their journey through time had only just begun, but its ripples would be felt for generations to come. The brave pair decide to present their findings to a group of their peers at a prestigious university. The room is bustling with male academics, their eyes looking at Eleanor and Charlotte with obvious distrust. A particularly grumpy-looking professor stands up to introduce them, his face barely able to hide his disdain for the topic at hand. His voice rings out in the large room, and he declares in a haughty, snobby tone,
"And now, ladies and gentlemen, prepare yourselves for a tale that belongs more in the realm of fantasy than academia. Professors Moberly and Jourdain will regale us with their time travel adventure."
Unperturbed, Charlotte and Eleanor stand in front of the crowd and start to recount their strange tale.
Thank you for the introduction. We're here today to present our findings on an extraordinary experience we had at Versailles in 1901. Our research suggests that we somehow slipped back in time to the year 1789, witnessing Versailles as it was during the reign of Marie Antoinette.
Oh, bravo! Perhaps next you'll tell us you had tea with the Queen herself, Or maybe you prevented the French Revolution while you were at it. Ha!
Charlotte and Eleanor return home feeling desperately dejected and demoralized by the mockery of their fellow academics.
Charlotte, what if? What if we've been fooling ourselves all this time? Maybe it was just the heat or our imaginations running wild. I don't know anymore, Eleanor. The ridicule, the constant questioning, it's wearing me down. Perhaps we should just forget about the whole thing. All those years of research, the connections we made. Was it all for nothing? Do you remember how we argued over the exact shade of blue in Marie Antoinette's dress? We nearly came to blows over cerulean versus azure. How could I forget? You were so certain it was cerulean, you nearly dumped a pot of ink over my notes to prove your point. Maybe we're just two foolish women chasing an impossible dream. Eleanor, look at this. It's a record of Louis XVI's old plough, the one we saw at Versailles. And the description, it matches exactly what we saw that day, right down to the peculiar notch in the handle. We can't give up, Eleanor. We owe it to ourselves, to history, to share what we've discovered. You're right, my sweet friend. Let them laugh. We know what we experienced, and we have the evidence to back it up.
And so, dear viewer, our intrepid academics steel themselves for the challenge ahead, ready to share their extraordinary tale with the world. The pair published the details of their experience in a book, which was released in 1911. They called the book an adventure, and it later became a television movie and a radio dramatization.
Look, Eleanor, our journey, our years of research, all bound in these pages. It's as if the very air of Versailles has been captured in ink and paper. It's hard to believe, isn't it? After all these years, we're finally ready to tell our story and publish our book. Do you think it could happen again? Could someone else slip through time? The truth is, Eleanor, we'll never fully understand what happened to us, but perhaps that's the beauty of it. Indeed, Charlotte, some mysteries are meant to be pondered, not solved. Our friendship, at least, is one beautiful certainty in this uncertain world.
Now, when their book was released, it captured the imagination of the general public, and many people truly believed that they had experienced something supernatural at Versailles. However, others were not so sure, and a number of other theories were suggested. Let's take a look. Theory 1. My Big Gay Fancy Dress Party. Philippe Julian's 1965 biography of the French poet Robert de Montesquieu, who was aristocratic and very decadent, offered a non-supernatural account for what happened. Montesquieu resided close by when Moberly and Jourdain went to Versailles, and it is said that he hosted parties in the grounds where his friends would dress in period attire and perform tableaux vivants as part of the festivities. It's possible that Moberly and Jourdain mistakenly interrupted a gay fancy dress party, mistaking it for a haunting. The pockmarked scary man may have been Montesquieu himself, and the person they thought was Marie Antoinette may have actually been a drag queen, or maybe a society lady. It was hypothesized that the two middle-class Edwardian spinsters, who would not have been accustomed to such company, would have been sinisterly affected by a meeting of the French decadent avant-garde of the period. Theory 2. A lesbienne folie à deux. In a review of the history of the Moberly-Jourdain adventure and the extensive public reaction to it, Terry Castle noted that a shared delusion may have arisen out of a lesbian folie à deux between the two women. What it had to do with whether they were lesbians or not is beyond me, but the idea of a folie à deux is an interesting one. This phenomenon is a rare mental disorder where a delusional belief is shared between two or more people who are close. It's also known as shared psychosis or shared delusional disorder. Castle concludes that when all proposed explanations have been considered, a core of mystery remains as much in relation to the psychological dynamics of the pair as to any aspects of the paranormal associated with their story. Theory 3. A hallucination embellished. Psychologist Leonard Zusen suggested that it was a hallucinatory experience. He suggests that this hallucination was added to and embellished over time by the two women as they researched and found out more about the history of the palace. Theory 4. A big mistake. Brian Dunning of Skeptoid concluded that Moberly and Jourdain were simply human, and were mistaken. He notes that editions of an adventure were embellished each time they were published, and inconsistencies in their memories were apparent. Dunning felt that it was only after much discussion, note-sharing, and historical research that Moberly and Jourdain came up with the time period as 1789 and assigned identities to a few of the characters they saw, including Marie Antoinette herself. Well, there you have it, fair viewer. I'd love to know what you think happened to Charlotte and Eleanor. Was it a time slip, a shared hallucination, or did the pair stumble on a reenactment or fancy dress party? Because honestly, I don't have a Scooby-Doo, frankly, though I like the idea of a big gay fancy dress party, to be fair. Don't leave me hanging, please let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss any other videos. Seriously, hit that button like it's the snooze alarm on a Monday morning. And why not join me for another mystery by clicking on one of the videos on the screen now? Until next time, stay curious, stay cautious, and stay tuned for more unexplained mysteries. And remember, you should be scared.